Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to teach you how to draw our magpie. Just like last week, I'm also using a pen. So first, we're going to start with the draw an oval shape to set up the head. Next, I want to set up the neck just by giving it a couple lines. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just to give a general idea, as you see here. Following those lines, let's create an oval that kind of represents the shoulder, and then we want to add on to the oval with a pear shape that will kind of give an idea of the rest of the body or the wings. You'll notice throughout the video I'm going to add some touch-up lines just to better outline my bird. From there, we're going to add a triangle-esque shape. Most animals are organic shapes a lot of the time, so you won't find squares or hard angles, but you'll find a lot of curves. So don't worry if your triangles or your shapes I'm describing aren't perfect. After we have kind of a general outline, I'm going to go back in and kind of add a little bit of the feather pouch that I have on the image that I'm following along to do this drawing. Next, I'm moving on with the legs. That is generally with animals not a strong point of mine, appendages such as feet and hands, but we're going to give it a go. Because legs and feet and other appendages aren't usually my best work when it comes to drawing, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them and just give them a quick kind of gestural outline. I can go back in when I use color and marker to better give depth and create more of a foot shape that we need versus just my quick sketch of the feet. Once I've completed the feet, I'm going to go back through once again and continue to add on to my drawing, creating extra layers by using darker lines each time. That's the thing that I like about pens, is that your drawing builds up over time, so you can't erase, so every mistake ends up turning into part of the drawing to give it more depth. So you start with like a lighter outline and then work your way up to darker, thicker lines, giving your overall shape that you'd like. After we've done a couple outlines, let's move to the beak. As I mentioned before, with the tail, it's going to be a triangle-esque shape, but don't worry about it being perfect. I am continuing to follow the drawing on my computer that you can't see to try and line up the beak lines with each other to get it looking as accurate as possible. From here you can start to see the outline taking shape. I'm going to go back in and finish the pen outline with some darker lines so you can really get a feel for how my bird is going to look. I'm going to start adding in interior details such as feathers, the kind of shape of the wing, where different colors are going to go, just so that I can better, once it comes to actually using, in this case, colored pencil. I might play with some other mediums as well. That's the fun part about drawing and art, is you don't need to stick to one medium. If something doesn't work out how you want it to, you can go back with a different medium and try something else, or you can just go over the top of it depending on what you use. I apologize for my face in these next couple seconds of filming. I got a little too into drawing the details and making sure everything's in its place, or as best as I can as possible. Sometimes I do, as I'm assuming other people do, where when you get into something you just get closer and closer, and it doesn't make anything bigger, make anything easier, but that's just something I do. But I'll make sure to take a step away here so that you can see kind of what my interior looks like a little better when it's all done without the view of my face. The last thing I forgot to do earlier was actually the eye. I don't really give you the best idea of me doing it as I lean directly in front of the camera, but you're going to want to make an oval shape. Generally, in this instant, it's in the middle of the head. That's where the eye's position on the bird, for this example. It will change for other animals, as you can imagine. I went in right away and just kind of gave a little underline, a little half swoop in the eye. You can better see it as in the above picture. The top part, the white part, is actually the reflection or the light shining off the eye. So I just colored in the bottom part black. I will go over that in a minute with marker and colored pencil to give that more of that shape that I'm looking for. You don't normally need to put the eye off until the end. I just did for whatever reason in this case. But yeah, it turned out pretty well, I'd like to say. And now we're going to move on to my favorite part, the outlining, and then moving forward the coloring or other mediums. In this case, I used colored pencil. Feel free to use marker, crayon, whatever you'd like. I generally stick to a pen, colored pencil, marker combo if I'm going to do a hand drawing. But your choice is yours, whatever you're most comfortable with. Go that route and have fun with it. All right, round 3. As I mentioned before, make sure everything is charged and working properly. We had another battery issue, so this hopefully will not happen again. So sorry again if it jumped a little bit. Moving forward though, I am using colored pencils in this instance to create kind of a blending technique. You can use whichever medium you'd like to do that. If you want to do that, you don't have to blend. That is just something I enjoy doing when I continue my art project. I like to think I'm a little better at blending, and for me it's a little easier to blend with colored pencil than it is with markers. I have actually a fairly nice set of Copic markers, or Copic, people say it differently, that I'm trying to learn a little bit better how to blend in. Those require a little bit different paper than I'm using right now, so the preferred method would be colored pencil. This paper is very porous, so it will drain a lot of the ink in my markers if I already use it, and that's just not a smart way to use them. So I'll say that for a different day and learn my blending techniques when I have better paper. You can see I'm trying to work with the feet a little bit, give it a little bit more depth to make them look more like bird feet than whatever I drew there. You'll also see me having issues with my colored pencils. I'm not using ones that I would normally use. I used to have a set of pretty nice colored pencils made for artists that are just created at a higher quality. Not saying there's anything wrong with these, but these are more everyday store-bought ones that will have a harder time sharpening. They're more likely to break or crumble. But that's totally fine if you're just getting into drawing. I'd always say buy products that you know you'll use. If you don't use over and over again, you won't feel bad about spending the money, as opposed to buying more artist-based materials that can generally run to be a little more expensive, but also people will use them. If people use them a lot, use it for a living. Probably. I'm just gonna add some couple more shadows to create more of a rounded body look. Go in and just add a couple more kind of feathers, if you will, as yes, a lot of the feathers are white in this area, but they also are going to have shadow. You want to add depth to kind of give it that more layered look, as I've mentioned before. And alright, there is our magpie. Thank you for sticking around this week and checking it out. We will catch you next week with a whole new animal. Have a good one.